Hello, fellow humans.
Human fellas.
And welcome to Life Sucks 101. First topic of the day, Canada's mass shooting. Apparently, it erupted from an argument.
What kind of argument?
Well, it says here, do you want a left-leaning source or a right-leaning source or a center?
Let's do center.
Europe.
Okay, let's read the right leaning and then we'll take a look at the left.
All right. Okay, it says Canada's worst mass shooting erupted from an argument between the gunman and his girlfriend, who survived the attack. The official confirmed to the Associated Press late Thursday that the weekend shooting rampage in Nova Scotia stemmed from a domestic dispute involving the couple. The official, who spoke on condition of anonymity...
Does it do that loady jumpy thing?
Yeah, a little bit.
I hate that. And then you lose your line.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
It's stupid. So police have said 51-year-old Gabriel Wortman acted alone in the shooting spree that killed at least 22 people across northern and central Nova Scotia. There are 16 crime scenes in 5 different rural communities throughout
16.
Throughout northern and central Nova Scotia.
What towns was it? Does it list some of the towns? Because I have family that live in Nova Scotia.
It might. It says the suspect was shot to death Sunday morning, about 13 hours after the attacks began. So I guess when he came across certain people, he just shot them. Either they were in the way or something, or he was still mad. Anyways, several bodies were found inside.
How can you be mad for 15 hours?
I don't know.
That's intense. I can be mad for like 10 minutes and then I just cry. So he killed his girlfriend first.
No, she's still alive.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know how. So several bodies were found inside and outside one house in the rural town of Portapique, and bodies were also found in 4 other communities, and authorities believe the shooter targeted his first victims, but then began attacking randomly as he drove around. Okay, never mind.
So his first victims were people he wanted to kill.
Yeah, and then he just went from there.
But it was just random.
Police have said Wortman carried out much of the attack disguised as a police officer in a vehicle marked to seem like a patrol car. They say he shot people in and around their homes and set fires to homes in Portapique.
Oh my God.
He owned a denture practice in the city of Dartmouth, near Halifax. He lived part-time in Portapique, according to residents. Atlantic Denture Clinic, his practice has been closed the past month because of the coronavirus pandemic. Authorities say Wortman did not have a police record, but information later emerged of at least one run-in with the law. The records confirm he was ordered to receive counseling for anger management after pleading guilty to assaulting a man in the Halifax area. So, I don't know, fist fight. That was the only thing they got.
Clearly the anger management didn't help him.
I guess not. I mean, I don't know how many sessions it was.
But how can you be that? I guess he just spiraled. He was just like, well, fuck it. If I'm going to die anyways.
Yeah, I've already committed murder. Might as well.
I'm going to go to jail. Maybe this will just go down in flames.
Jeez.
I don't know. That's insane. Could you imagine being that angry for 15 hours?
No, I usually blow off steam in like an hour.
I don't think I've ever been angry longer than an hour.
It must have been other things in his life that were bothering him.
Well, quite frankly, like working with dentures all day, that doesn't sound fun. I'm so curious what the fight was about.
Yeah, I don't know. She's alive, apparently.
Oh, God.
How could she be alive? How could she be alive and everyone else is dead?
How shitty would you feel?
If I was the girl?
Yeah.
Well, it's not her fault. But
no, but
I can imagine she'd feel kind of responsible.
And just
but everyone's going to tell her the truth that it's not her fault. Like, bad shit happens in relationships all the time. Doesn't mean you go start taking life.
It's terrible. I can't believe how many people got shot just by one guy.
More. The guilty plea came on October 7th, 2002. It's a long time ago. That was his record. As his trial was about to begin, he was placed on probation for 9 months, fined $50. Not bad.
So it must have just been like a bar fight.
Yeah, and told to stay away from the man, and also prohibited from owning or possessing a weapon, ammunition, or explosive substances. I guess we don't know the details.
I was going to say it could have been.
But it seems pretty extreme, unless the guy threatened to kill him directly with his weapons.
Or maybe he tried to kill him.
I don't see a reason to take it away that long.
It could have been a case where he lost control and almost killed someone. Who knows?
Mass shootings are relatively rare in Canada. The country overhauled its gun control laws after Marc Lépine shot 14 women and himself to death at Montreal's École Polytechnique College in 1989, so when I was born. Before the weekend rampage, that had been Canada's worst mass shooting. But 2 years ago, Thursday, a man drove a van along a busy Toronto sidewalk and killed 10 people and injured 16. The suspect, who is awaiting trial, said he carried out the attack in retribution for years of sexual rejection and ridicule by women.
That was the incel guy.
It's true. Canada rarely does have shootings. There was that guy who tried to, I think, shoot up a military base or something like that. It just doesn't happen very often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a guy in Ottawa that tried to shoot people, but they caught him before he shot anyone.
Yeah. Like, we have all the gun laws. It's what the left in the States would want. But it clearly doesn't do what they say it's going to do. It doesn't keep people from rampaging if they want to. If people want to, they can get a gun illegally.
Well, quite frankly, as we've seen...
Or they can steal one.
Well, this guy's clearly stole weapons. But what we've seen is that you don't even necessarily need a gun. Like, one of our biggest, I keep wanting to say
mass
shootings,
killings.
but mass killings was a van.
Yeah, he just ran people over.
Yeah, how many did he run over? Like 10 or something?
Yeah.
And like a lot of people
running
died.
over women. One of them, I think, was an old lady.
And she died. So sad.
So...
Who would kill an old lady? Just leave the elderly alone. They're going through enough right now.
I don't know. No one would fuck them. Hire yourself a prostitute. There are many out there.
Yeah.
You know, they don't look as weird as you think they do.
And prostitute is like a negative condensation.
Condensation?
Condemnation?
Condentation?
I don't know.
Connotation.
It's a negative word.
Connotation.
That's why in Canada we call them and class them as sex workers, and it is legal. You can't publicly solicitate, but it's legal.
There you go. You could do what you want with your body, just not out where everyone can see you.
Yes.
And bring down, I guess, the market value of the city. Gun laws, we've got good gun laws. Some may say, and even I say, a little too strict on certain classifications of certain types of firearms. But hey, guess what? It didn't really work. The minute somebody decides they're going to commit a mass killing, they're going to find a way. He had he had something that looked like a police cruiser, so I'm not sure where he got the gun exactly.
So clearly he was not mentally well to begin with. Because not a normal human goes out of their way to create a car that looks like a cop car.
See, I don't know. I think his incident is kind of irrelevant. He didn't have much of a record. There was tons of guys I knew that had little records from getting into fights. Mm-hmm. That's not really telling.
Well, that's like the guy who shot up, was it Vegas? He had no records.
Yeah, that I
None.
know of. He just...
No, but I remember reading news articles and and even people who knew him were just like, he was not the kind of person to be like that.
All we knew is he was a big gambler, and...
He probably lost a ton of money.
Yeah, he had
money.
Similar
story. They just spiraled. You know, like something in their brain broke and they spiraled.
Either way, you can't stop these people unless you know or have enough information. Unless the FBI has enough information, there's not much they can do.
Yeah, it's not like this guy clearly he wasn't like Googling how to commit arson every night. Like, I don't know.
It's just bizarre. I'm surprised it happened in Nova Scotia of all places.
Yeah, of all places.
Sounds like an Ontario thing.
It definitely sounds like something that would happen in Ontario. Quite frankly, anyone who's been out east will agree. It's a very, quite frankly, chill place. Like no one's in a big rush for anything. It's very easygoing.
There's a reason East Coast lifestyle t-shirts exist.
It's a thing because it's a lifestyle. It's like Thai time or island living. It's just everything just goes much slower.
Yeah.
Even waiting in line at Tim Hortons, like you know it's gonna be a while because they gotta smooth, they take their time, no one moves very quickly. It's just like
it can be irritating sometimes, but
it is irritating. Even traffic, they all drive like the speed limit or slower, and I'm like, come on.
I don't know. For of all places, that's the province that the worst mass shooting technically happened. It's crazy.
It's weird.
It wasn't. But it wasn't all at once. He just zigzagged. I think he just snapped. It's not like something he was able to snap out of. He's just like, nope, I'm gonna do this.
And he's dead, so it's not like a psychologist could even try to get the bottom of it, and he died.
Yeah. Well,
which is really for the best. Really, truly, we don't need to be spending taxpayers' money to, like, what? Jail him?
yeah, it would have been nice to know his intentions, though, again, that doesn't really help anything.
It doesn't help anyone. It's just a curiosity.
Yeah, it's like...
It doesn't change anything.
People have been psychoanalyzing murderers for a long time. I don't think they would have pulled anything new from him.
I can't
Either
believe-
way, guys, guess what? Your gun laws aren't working because that's not the problem. Guns aren't the issue. The thing being used is not the issue. It's the people. And unfortunately for you, the people, you can't control this shit. It happens sometimes.
And if people want to kill someone or kill lots of people, they're going to find a way, as proven with the van incident.
Yeah, that's why people were throwing around terms like assault van
Well,
in case someone uses it to run someone over. I'm like, I've been saying this for years. Cars kill way more people than guns do.
oh, yeah.
And even licensed. These are all, I'm assuming, licensed drivers, just not that great at driving.
Yeah, well, it's just like here in Canada, we have gun licenses, and you have to go through a course.
Yeah.
Just like getting a car license or driver's license. You have to get a license, you got to go through the course, you got to learn the road rules. It's just the same with guns. You have to learn the rules, you got to use it respectfully, you got to store it properly. Like, there's a lot of rules.
And most people don't know that. For all you people that don't like guns and have no idea about Canada's laws, we have a lot of...
There's a lot of strict laws.
Yeah, we have a lot of rules.
The gun has to remain locked, unloaded. Any ammo has to be kept in a separate locked container. Yeah.
And here's another lesson for you. It wouldn't have mattered if he had a semi-automatic or a bolt action. He could have killed these people with a bolt action. It's
So
a one-shot...
So for people who don't know, a bolt action is like one gun, one bullet, one shot.
Yeah, and then you have to reload it.
Yeah.
So it's boom, boom, boom. Like a lever action. Boom, boom.
Well,
like,
I
you know
think-
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know
You've
what
seen it
you're.
in movies.
I know what you're saying. In this guy's case, no, it wouldn't have made a difference.
It wouldn't have made a difference. He did
No.
it over the span of 12 hours. Let me get this through your head, people. It doesn't matter what they use. It just matters that they did it and perhaps why.
And quite frankly, anyone who's an argument I hear a lot is like anyone who's talking about, oh, people who are going to be like using the gun for like a crime. My argument always is if you make guns illegal, you're only going to take them out of hands of law-abiding citizens. If you want to use a gun for an illegal thing, like if you're in a gang, they do not buy their guns or are registered through the Canadian government. They buy them illegally, generally over the border at the States,
Yeah.
and they smuggle them back.
But
So they're
politicians...
unregistered guns and unregistered gun owners. So making more gun laws aren't going to take guns away from people who have bad intentions of using that gun.
That's true.
You can't carry a gun in public, period.
Yeah, you can use handguns and AR-15s for sport shooting only. You're not allowed to use them for hunting, and you have to use it at a range. You have to be registered at a range in order
Yeah.
to use these guns, and these guns require a special class
Yeah.
of firearms license. I didn't get that class of license because it was just way too much trouble, way too much red tape. There was too many rules to follow, so I just stuck with the long gun,
And it's
the unrestricted guns, which aren't that different.
no. Well, any gun's going to kill you.
Well, they're designed to kill or maim. That's not in question. It just depends on who's using it. There's good cops that use guns, and there's bad cops that use guns.
Honestly, it all comes down to someone's psyche. And I stick to my point, which my point always revolves back to if you make more gun restrictions or make guns illegal, all you're doing is taking them out of the hands of law-abiding citizens. You're not stopping people who have bad intentions with their guns.
No.
really not.
Most gun violence is either suicide or gang-related.
Or
So in the case of gangs, like, of course, they have records. They've done things. They've stolen. They've gotten in fights. Like, they've got records.
they usually
can't.
cannot buy a gun legally.
No, they can't.
So most gun violence that happens in Canada and even the States are people who have guns illegally.
Yeah. And you don't want to take the guns out of citizens in general because, and this is just my personal belief, the States has it right when they say the people should have the right to bear arms.
Well, the U.S. is a nation built on a revolution.
Yeah, they're the rebellion.
So they're like,
nation.
no. We need guns.
Yeah, this country was founded on a civil
The
war.
people uprising and taking power.
America equals telling the British to fuck off. It was not easy.
Pretty much.
Because when they told the British to fuck off, a lot of people died.
And Canada did beat the States at war. Just saying. We were a British colony at the time, but the War of 1812, we won that shit.
I'm not proud that we're Diet Britain. It would have been great if we were just completely our own nation, but whatever.
We got there through a very peaceful process.
I know. Well, because they already dealt with the shit the States did. They were like, you know what?
Pretty much.
We don't want another war. We'll let you have it.
It wasn't even so much that. It's because we had pretty much proven ourselves globally as an independent nation, as well as we fought very bravely in World War I and II. As a matter of fact, a lot of battles were won in World War II because of Canadian troops.
When were we awarded our independence technically? Do you know?
It was actually our current Prime Minister's father who kind of had the last meeting with the Queen about our independence. She's our figurehead in a lot of ways, but she holds no power, though she does technically own all the land still.
Of course.
Which is why in Canada, you never technically own your land. You have the right to use that land, but you don't own it. At any point, someone could show up with documents and say, hey, get the fuck out. They'll give you some money, but get the fuck out. And you don't have a choice. It's not your land. You don't own it.
No, none of us do.
It is all technically owned by the crown. Not even a Prime Minister of Canada owns the land of Canada.
He doesn't own shit.
No one owns Canada.
He's just a
except the
figurehead
Queen. We own nothing. Say even if you bought the land outright, you had every cent saved up and you bought a parcel of land fully outright. You don't own it. You have the right to use that land. That's it. That's all you bought.
Yep, that's what all your hard-earned money is for. The government owns the country. The ruling government owns the country. It's just letting its citizens stay there. That's the point, I guess, of conquering, is you get to make those rules.
Then it's almost like you go back to the times of like tribes and like different royal families. Like the royal family owned the land and they allowed the plebs to live there and pay them taxes to live there. It's essentially what we are as a nation. All nations are essentially that, but in a much grander scale.
In Canada's case, again, let me reiterate this. With gun laws, we have a shit ton. And we have enough. That's enough. We don't need more. But guess who's trying to put in more gun laws, Danelle?
The Canadian government.
Justin Trudeau.
It was a general statement. I'm not technically wrong.
But
quite frankly,
Trudeau,
a lot of the conservative platform right now is we're not going to change much. Things are fine.
Right now, the Liberals, Trudeau wants to ban assault-style weapons. And I say assault-style with quotations because they have actually, they do know. They know that they don't know what an assault-style rifle is and what defines it.
I feel like they do. They just don't, frankly, care.
They don't. It's politics. And actually, the more you dig into politics, the more you realize they don't care. It's about points. The more points you gain with the people, the longer you can be in office, the more power you accumulate. Pretty basic. But he wants to get rid of assault-style weapons. I'm like, that did not help. That won't help. That won't change anything when it comes to mass killings. You're just using the crisis to push forward this agenda. You're not the only one. I know there's politicians on both sides that use crisis.
Well,
crises?
Quite frankly, any smart politician is going to use public opinion or public fear to sway their opinion.
Yeah, they're salespeople.
Pretty
in
much.
In case y'all need a reminder,
it's a job.
It's a job. It's a career for these guys, and they're salesmen.
It's also like a what's the word I want? Like, remember high school when you voted on like prom king or queen? It's all it is. It's like a popularity vote. It's like, how many people can I get to like me?
Well, it gets them a lot.
It does.
It gets them a lot, and I'm sure it strokes their ego quite a bit too.
And quite frankly, Trudeau is pretty popular globally.
But he's also a shit nugget.
A lot of people think he's a shit nugget.
And I won't say who, but I've talked to quite a few people that have been in close proximity. And yeah, he's a shithead.
Even politicians you only like them because they're pandering to your type of person.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only reason.
They're not your friend. They're just there for themselves. Don't trust your government ever, fully. Governments can accomplish great things, but realize that they're extremely fallible. In case you need a reminder, read the news. They're always fighting each other. Always. It never ends.
Doesn't matter who's in charge, who's the person on the pedestal.
Yeah.
There's always going to be battles. I get so annoyed with politics in general because I don't quite care who's who or the popularity contest or who likes who. I want to talk about the issues.
The party, where the party stands.
I don't care who they are. I want to talk about the issues and what they plan and what the party plans on doing about those issues. I don't care who likes who.
Well, it becomes a popularity contest, as you said. It's all about
so stupid.
The person representing the party, but people seem to have a hard time looking past that.
And people just, I feel like people forget about the issues. It's
They
like,
do.
okay, but let's not talk about how dumb Trump is or how stupid Trudeau could be or, oh, isn't he handsome? Don't you like have a crush on him like every other girl in Canada? And it's like, no, I don't. And I don't think that what any of these people put out for themselves to be is true.
No, of course not. That's why that old saying applies. Don't believe everything you see on TV, because everything that is seen on TV is sensationalized.
Sensationalized.
It's all sensationalized for viewership. You should know this, people.
Even the news, like if you like look at any of the captions, it's all meant to just garner your attention, make you feel something. And apparently Canadian researchers are testing cannabis to fight COVID-19.
All right, you know what? That's the second subject. Let's
talk about
read.
that.
Let's read.
Okay, let me pull it up. So Canadian researchers are in the early stages of testing cannabis to fight COVID-19. Since the COVID-19 pandemic began, researchers all across the globe have been scrambling to find treatments and vaccines. The latest development on that front has pointed in a different direction than others. Researchers in Alberta have been doing studies related to COVID-19, and cannabis extracts have apparently shown promise as an additional treatment. So not a cure, just a treatment.
Treatment's fine.
The official University of Lethbridge reports reads, specific cannabis sativa extracts show promise as an additional treatment for COVID-19. This study was conducted in partnership with Pathway RX and Swish. Focuses on developing cannabis-based therapies while more cannabis research is developed.
I wonder how it can treat it other than making you feel overall better. I don't know what that does for the lungs. But
Oh, okay. So because it's anti-inflammatory properties.
Oh, it helps the lungs not be inflamed?
Yeah, so they're talking about these two researchers, a husband and wife. Olga and her husband Igor have been working on studying the medical anti-inflammatory properties of cannabis for years. So far, they've created over 1,000 strands of cannabis in their lab. When the pandemic began, they turned to their data to see if any other strands could hold medical properties to help with the prevention of COVID. According to
like mad scientists.
Yeah, they love weed.
Like really love weed. They want to save the world with weed.
Yeah. According to the researchers, their study brought some unusual results regarding the prevention and treatment of the disease. They explained that COVID-19 is able to enter your body through a number of receptors in your body. The virus docks at the receptors, said Kovalchuk, which is the last name of the researchers.
Kovalchuk.
When the Kovalchuks tested out their cannabis extracts, they found that the cannabis extracts have the capacity to modulate the receptors. As a result, less of the virus breaks into the receptors and spreads throughout the body, so it lessens the impacts of the virus.
It's like a soft shield of some sort.
Yeah, so it only like you won't get as sick as you thought as you could have.
Maybe that's
you'll get sick, but not as sick.
But
well, apparently
again,
it's a very specific strand that they've developed in their lab.
Okay, fine. But,
Okay, so the Kovalchuks took inventory of their strands and extracts and narrowed it down to a batch of 22. Of those, 13 managed to modulate as they hoped. Imagine a building that has 20 doors and people want to enter through the doors. And all of a sudden you lock 17 doors. Fewer people will enter. Well, as per the study, cannabis extracts could be the magical ingredient that locks the doors. However, the college chucks, I'm not going to be able to say that right, tell us that this has only proven to be the case in lab settings and not has been tested in clinical trials yet. Well, that's really cool.
Soon.
I'm sure it's something that goes into your bloodstream and necessarily that you would get high from.
Any old people saved from this are just going to become like stoners,
legendary.
hardcore stoners after.
That's pretty cool though, that they're like, this is going to block the receptors, make you less sick. Weed.
That's kind of cool.
I'm telling you, it's our miracle drug of the century.
Au naturel.
I love it.
Well, here's to hope. Here's to hope in marijuana.
Or hope in general.
Cheers.